From Sophie Zoe Next Level Business Support. I'm Sophie Zillman, also known as Sophie Zoe. I'm the owner and CEO of Sophie Zoe Next Level Business Support. Today, we're going to talk podcasts. If you don't have one, you can get one, and you can do it fairly easily if that's really where you want to go with things. They're really hot for marketing right now, and there's ways to use them as, free content for your people. You can monetize them. You can have guests on there to get more visibility. There's just so much you can do with a podcast. I have one. I love it. I adore it. I'm in my second season of it. And I highly recommend it if it's just something that you are really passionate about and really can get behind. Because again, with every marketing thing you do, it has to be authentic and genuine to you. So today, we're talking 5 steps to plan the perfect podcast. First, set your schedule. Are you going to have it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? 2, choose your hosting platform. There are tons of platforms out there. I personally use Buzzsprout, but there's Libsyn and there's Anchor and there's a whole bunch out there. I love Buzzsprout. It's very easy to use, and it, like most platforms, will automatically put it out to all the apps and listening devices, so to speak, that are available for podcasts these days. So you can get it out there fairly easily. Third, decide on whether you're going to do guests, solo, or a mix of the two. My first season, I did it just solo, me every week, new topic, and I kept mine to about 10 minutes or so. I like talking in little bitty chunks on my podcast, so they're easy to listen to, digest, and get through. And you're not listening on for hours on end. You can get a whole bunch of value and information and tips and all of that really easily. Now, the second season that I'm in now, I am doing all guests. I'm bringing in experts to talk about the same tips and tricks that I talk about, in the sense of what their best advice is for scaling your business from 6 to 7 figures and beyond. Because there's, the team aspect, the delegating aspect, the marketing aspect, but there's coaching and mentoring and other things that go on that are a part of that scaling process that my expert guests are bringing to the table. Fourth, brainstorm topics at least 1 month ahead if you're going to do solo, or even if you're doing a mix of solo versus guests, because the guests kind of dominate the topic depending upon who they are and what their expertise is. But when you're talking solo, make sure you're planning out your topics about a month ahead of time. Again, here's where a content calendar is really handy. And last, decide on how you'll script your podcast, especially when you're doing it yourself. Are you going to have a full script that you're going to read word for word? Are you going to have talking points and just kind of use those as a guideline and fill it in with, winging it, so to speak? Or are you going to take it even further to just a little bit of bullet points that you can talk on to spark you into talking about the finer points of whatever you're going to talk about on your podcast? But definitely figure out how you're going to do that, because winging it without any script is probably not a good idea, especially if you have a tendency to ramble, if you stammer and stutter and can't really think about what you're going to say. It's good to have at least, at the very least, have bullet points, but you can always go fully scripted if needed. So those are my 5 tips for planning a perfect podcast. If you want to start a podcast and don't know how, give us a shout. If you have a podcast and would like to hand off the management of it, give us a shout, because we can do that too. Comment below with any questions, thoughts, or anything like that. You can DM me, and you can go visit my website, sophiezoe.com, SOPHIEZ as in zebra o.com, to learn more. I love talking to you every Tuesday, and I will see you next week.